This is a comparison of a couple of dynamic mics that are fairly widely used, particularly the first one. The first one is a Shure SM58. This mic, I think you could say fairly, is ubiquitous. And the second one is the ElectroVoice ND767A, which is a more recent addition. This first part I'm recording on the Shure SM58. Let me give you a little bit of history on the Shure SM58. This is probably the classic dynamic vocal microphone, and it's used extensively for particularly live vocals. If you go to pretty much any venue, you will find that they have several of these on hand. And kind of the history of them is that they were first adopted by a lot of rock musicians in the 60s, and they were adopted by them for a couple of reasons. First of all, the sound. It provides kind of a good, solid, all-around sound for most voices. There are obviously nuances, and so if you have everyone's voice is unique, and so some microphones may respond better, but overall, the SM58 provides a good, solid sound. Additionally, they're very, very rugged, and the musicians found that through touring that they held up very well. So those were a couple of the things. And then the third thing probably is the price point. Even today, you can buy these for about $100 US, pretty much anywhere you can buy audio gear. So they're easy to come by. They're nicely priced, rugged, and a good all-around sound. Okay, now I've switched over to the ElectroVoice ND767A. Let me tell you a little bit about this microphone. This is a dynamic mic, also primarily designed for vocal use, and the way ElectroVoice kind of pitches it is as a lead vocals mic. It delivers a slightly stronger signal than the SM58, and because of that, or I don't know if because of that, but nevertheless, ElectroVoice claims that this can also be suitable for studio work and for recording. So we'll see how that pans out. Also, they claim that this microphone handles the proximity effect a little bit better, so that lead vocals are not lost in the mix. And for just a quick background on that, proximity effect is when you ride up really close to the microphone. So you'll see a lot of rock musicians and rappers, hold the mic just like they're nearly having inside their mouths, and so you get some kind of proximity effect, and what that does is it increases the bass response of the microphone, so you get a really kind of boomy sound. And so ElectroVoice claims that they've kind of tuned this microphone to handle that a little bit better, and as a result that you'll cut through a live mix a little bit better with your lead vocals. And then additionally, ElectroVoice says that it has a better windscreen design, and the idea is there is to handle plosives more effectively. Those are the popping sounds that you get when you say P's or B's, and we'll see how that pans out. So what did we find? Just my observations here using both of these microphones. Let me take a step back and first explain. I use the same hardware chain for both of these. So what I mean by that is I'm using a Focusrite Trackmaster Pro as my preamp, and there is also an outboard compressor on that. And then I brought that in line level to an Edirol UA25 audio interface into my digital audio workstation. And I use that for both of them. I did have to drop the input gain a little bit when I use the ElectroVoice, because in fact, it did deliver a stronger signal than the SM58. And so we had to kind of back that off a little bit just so we weren't clipping or anything. It did not seem to me that the EV handles plosives better. Seems like it's pretty much right in line with the Shure SM58. But what I did find is the ElectroVoice does seem a little bit more responsive in the higher frequencies. And so that's something you have to kind of consider. That can be an advantage or it can be a disadvantage depending on your particular voice or the particular effect you're going for. In my case, I find that I do have some... I just think my voice personally sounds better when the microphone is less sensitive in the higher frequencies. But again, that's a matter of personal taste. The SM58 does seem to have a smoother, I guess you could describe it as, or perhaps a less bright sound because it isn't as sensitive at the higher frequencies. And for that reason, I personally think my voice sounds a little bit better on the SM58. So that's just a quick comparison. Hope that's helpful to you.